This is Virginia Ball, and we're going to come over there so she can see y'all and y'all can see her. And she's going to talk to us today about reflexology. And she has many words of wisdom that she would like to share with us.
I'm 98 years old, and I'm still working. And I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go to work at 7. And it's good to be alive. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I had this lady come to me, and she took a reflexology treatment. And she called me up, and then she came back. She told me she learned a lot, and I must have talked a lot. But anyway, I don't know why I said yes. The only thing I can figure out is I do have arthritis in my neck. And I find it's pretty hard to turn it like this, you know? But I could go like this. So I did that to you, Linda. That's why I'm here. I'm not a speaker at all. I lived on a farm south of here called the Gamble Farm. And I went to school at Snow School. And it is a house down there about 9 miles down here. And the first thing I learned was, what do they call it when you you go to the school teacher and you read a paper and everything? What do they call that? You don't know? Well, see, I am nervous, aren't I? Deanna, I'm sorry, I'm gumming this up, but anyway, we went to school and we would walk to school, and we had a bucket there that had a dipper in it, and everybody would drink out of the same dipper, you know. And so from there, I went over to Towanda to school, and finally ended up in the Flint Hills on the Nuttall Ranch. And I was a cowgirl at one time, and I went to Lone Tree School. So I have seen everything: the first telephone, the first washing machine. I can remember my mother building a fire with wood outside our house. And this is still when I was in about the 6th and 7th grade. And she would draw the water up out of the well and build this fire, and she would get her do her washing, and she would get the washboard out and do her washing like that. I remember when she got her first washing machine. And this is so funny about our brain, because I can still remember the name of that washing machine, and it was called Easy. So back in those times, they really did have to work. And I wonder about our farmers now. They all irrigate their food and water, wheat, help me. And you know, we didn't have any running water back in those days. And I figure here about 2 years ago, I thought, why did we have so much to grow? And how did we keep growing it? But it was because my mother got out and hoed. Every kid got out and hoed the ground, turned the ground around and everything. I got into reflexology. My husband went to school here. His name was George Ball. And we fell in love. We met up in the Flint Hills, and as a cowboy and a cowgirl, and drove cattle to Rosalia to be shipped out. And when I came to school here, he was a year ahead of me, and we fell in love. And we finally, we couldn't go anywhere. We had no car or anything. And he finally, to get away from me, he enlisted in the service. I got him in the end. But anyway, he was 17 years old. He was going to come home that Christmas, and Mother was going to sign thing for me to get married, but I was only a junior in high school, and everything always happened for the best, you know? But George didn't get, his name was Junior in those days, he didn't get to come home. The war broke out, so I didn't get to see him for 4 years. I'll have to make this short because, and I told Linda, I said, once I get started, I don't want to stop. So anyway, we did get married in 4 years when he came back from the service, and we was in California, and we get homesick for El Dorado. Well, we counted our money, and I could get on the bus and come home, but I wouldn't come without him. So he put on his uniform, and we hitchhiked home from California to El Dorado. I put a note in my shoe, so if I got hit by something, my mother would read it. We had a little bit of money, but I never did mail it. But you know, God has been in my world so many times. I don't know too much about him, but I sure do believe in him. When we're just thinking of our body, how it's put together and everything. But we was in the desert and we was walking along, and we came along, this dog came along to us. And we fell in love with this little old dog. And we walked a while, but before that, we had a salesman that would take us from town to town. But finally, we get out close to the desert, and all we had is this dog walking along with us. Getting pretty cold. Do you know what that dog did? He got out and stopped this car. He sat right down on the road and stopped that car. George had his uniform on, and these two men had bought this car for $35, I think I remember. Wasn't much of a car. We had a seat in the back, but it was called a rumble seat. Didn't have much to sit on, and you had to hold the lid down. And we finally got to Oklahoma, and the car gave out, and we got back to Kansas. So in the meantime, he couldn't find a job, looked for it and everything. We lived with my parents and all that. And finally, he tried to go to school, but he was used to smoking, and he couldn't smoke in school, you know? It was pretty rough in those days, money-wise, but we were happy, and Mother and Dad took care of us while he was looking for a job. So anyway, we got into sales work, and that might have been the best thing that happened to you, but you never know. But then finally, we ended up back on the farm again. And George was riding a horse one day across the river, and it fell in the creek with him, and he really was hurt. We went to good doctors and chiropractors and all this and that, you know, and he just couldn't work. 3 months he laid in bed. And you had Louise Boyer. Some of you know Kathy Martin. It was her mother. She came out and she said, George, we're going to take you down and let this lady rub your feet. Am I talking loud enough? And he said, hell, Louise, my feet don't hurt. It's my back. Well, we had to get him in the car. It was hard. And he got down to this lady, and her name was Mrs. Shook. She was wonderful. But she had a sales pitch. And we didn't like her, you know, the first time we saw her. Because she said to George, you know, I can't do this in one treatment. You've been to good doctors. You've been over to a veteran hospital. They wanted to operate on you. You wouldn't let them. She said, you're going to have to take 7 treatments or I won't talk to you. Well, Louise said, I'm going to pay for it. So it was okay with us. Do you know what? I still do not understand what I do. It's really awesome. He took 4 treatments, and that man went back to work, hadn't worked for 3 months. We had no money coming in. I took washing and earnings in. to pay for our meal, our food. He went back to work, and it was an oil fill thing, and I hope you could help me think of the name. He worked in down tank something in the oil field at that time. So she told me, she said, I can help your arthritis, Virginia. She said, I can't cure it, but I can help you live with it. So I started taking treatments, and I got so much better, I went to work at Four Seasons. That was our nursing home out here on Country Club. And I worked there for 4 years as just a helper, getting people up and down. And I noticed every time we changed Four Seasons to something else, they got rid of more workers, you know? And anyway, but I found out I could rub your feet, go over there and talk to you when you're in bed, and I could rub your feet and you would go to sleep. Then they found out that I could rub your feet and maybe get you to take your medicine. So I did that, and finally I thought, I really would like to learn to do this. So do any of you remember the Walnut Valley Bank? Do any of you know Cliff? What was his name? Help me.
Cliff Stone.
Stone, yeah. Do you know him? Oh, he was a wonderful person. Do you know anything about him? Much of you? Yeah. You know your hands were good. I went down to him with my husband, and I told him I wanted to go to school to learn reflexology. We had no credit. We had gotten into cards, credit cards and things. It was terrible. We had no money. You know that man loaned me the money to go to school? Just took my word for it. Isn't that neat? We need more people like that, don't we? But now you can't hardly do that. I understand that too. So I went to school and learned to be reflexology. We work on the nerves ending in your feet. When God made you, I think he started at your brain and he went right down your spine. I usually don't give talks unless I have a foot in my hand, but I didn't want to do that today. But but anyway. I know, right? Do you want to get any volunteer? Oh, I just rip them off. But listen, kids, the hands is the same as the foot. When God made you, and God, when you start studying the body, I didn't know nothing. I went to the college and got some books. I do think you have to have a feel for things. I don't think I could be a hairdresser, but I did have a feel, and I could feel with crystal. And I had to have help to do that. This is my foot. This here is your spine. You think it's my foot, and I go up the spine like this. I get up here to the neck, and then the spine still goes way up into the neck, the back of your neck, sir. And if you're having trouble, what will pop up is what we call crystals. If I would lay sugar down here and would feel all the sugar, that's what it feels like to me. It tells you where you're hurting in your body. It's unbelievable. So you go up here and you're at your tailbone, and maybe you hurt your tailbone sometime. If you hurt your tailbone, there will be a crystal there. And all I do is bust that up, go on up, work the hand for the foot. The body does the repair work. I'm just an instrument, you know. Oh my gosh, we got a young kid over here that even has a little bit of neck trouble. And he's just a kid. So in his neck here, you come down here like this, just massage it, and it might help him, It's unbelievable. I don't understand it at all. Is there anything you want to ask me about it?
I do. When can I get an appointment?
What?
When can she get an appointment?
Oh, you just call me and we'll work you in maybe. I mean, we will.
Okay.
I do have reflex problem, and I'm going to have to take a cough drop if I can find it. So anyway, excuse me. Is there anything else? I got so much to tell you. I learned through the years. Hey, have you ever seen these old people where they go like this? Have you seen them? Do you have somebody in your house that way? They go this way? Look, you got to carry the word. There's an old saying about something in cell work. The story to Garcia. I don't know who Garcia was, but I did read it. But you got to carry the word back to your loved ones. Think I'm going to get this unwrapped? No. I hope you don't get reflex. Nerve reflex, because it's not good. Okay, we're back to walking like this, and you don't need to do that. I had a lawyer that came in to me from Wichita, and I get up after my treatment with him, and I go like this. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm just walking like you do." That wasn't very nice, but sometimes words just come out, you know. And he was you would know him. He was a good lawyer over there. His feet was crooked too. I found out something that I didn't know, and I am still learning today. In fact, I found out something yesterday I didn't know. Look, when you go like this, your toes don't move. They don't move. Why did God give us fingers and no toes? Okay, so you go like this. Your toes move you. You move it on. Now for 98 years, I did pretty good, don't I? Look there. See how those toes work? So, if you're at a place and you've got a grandmother or a grandson, father, and they're not moving their toes, have them sit down and do this in a nursing home. You go to visit somebody. Get them to say the ABCs. Sir, can you say the ABC with your feet? Sir?
I've never tried.
Would you try? Would you try now for me? A, you can print or you can do anything, you know? Now, I bet you can't even get up to G.
I'm not betting against you. I think you can.
When I started this, I couldn't go very far. I thought, But when you're doing this, you're not only bending your toes and working your feet and your circulation, but you're working your groin area right here. And those ankles, you've seen people that get swelling in their feet, you got to get them moving. Another thing, when you retire, please do something. I've seen people come in and they retire. Oh boy, I'm retired. They're gonna have fun, you know. So what do? They get old, they sit, turn the TV on, go to sleep. You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving. And you got to keep positive. Don't be negative. And if you don't like someone that you're working with, I know everybody knows somebody, but can you just hold your finger up like this and nobody will see you but me? Do you have worked with anybody that you don't like? Come on. Okay. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Look, don't let that bother you. You're working with there's something good in that person. I used to tell George, he'd come home, no, this guy, I said, wait, honey, there's something good about him. Well, I don't know. And he would use that word hell, Oh, wait a minute. He has a mother or had a mother that loved him very much. So there has to be something good about him. So you've got to look for the good in people. And honey, you're going to see a lot of people in your lifetime, and you're going to have a wonderful life. But you always look in the good. And remember, there's good in everybody. You might have to work at it to get it, but there is good in everybody. Think positive. And don't ever think you can't do it. I was Rosie the Riveter. And we have the saying, yes, we can. Yes, we can. They've had me talk over to the hospital, help me, Dole Hospital in Wichita. And you've got to think positive. You've got to think, yes, you can. But they wanted me to talk, and it was kind of embarrassing. Because here you are, you have the World War II veterans and everybody. Honey, Rosie the Riveter didn't go through anything. Yeah, we didn't have sugar, we didn't have nylons, we didn't have that, but we had a job. And we worked and did the job. I was Rosie the Riveter, a bucker and a driller, But those poor men were the whole, what do you call that? Treasure, huh?
Foxhole.
Thank you, sir.
Foxhole.
Yeah. You got it.
I'm very slow.
No, you're okay. You'll be all right. We'll talk to you later about it.
Okay.
They were in there. They would have me. They'd say, "Oh, you did such a job." No, we got paid for it. We didn't get much, but the soldiers didn't get paid any either. I mean, God, you got to look back on their thing. They might have got home with 72 cents. It was terrible. You got to look it up. But anyway, now see, you lost my. I touched you, and then I lost my thought. But anyway, those men, they didn't get much, and they had airplanes flying over, drop things down for them, and this and that. So Rosie the Riveter wasn't anything to talk about, really. But we worked together. Oh my gosh, if I mention this, you won't ever have me come back. I don't know why. Oh, I better not do that. No.
Do it.
Well, I don't know why we can't come together. Why we're always, I get it. I went up to, I'm not with American Legion till I went with my husband. I should stop now, shouldn't I? And we had all the senators and people together, and we was whining and dining on. But I'm standing by this one man, and he's the senator. You come up, he's talking to you. And boy, you got a good talk, and you tell him just what you think. And I'm listening, keep my mouth shut, but listening. And I go away for a minute, and they go on, and I come back. And I'm standing there by the post, Another couple come up. They talk to the same senator, and he tells them, oh yeah, you're right. Now, I would have thought more about him if he would have said, no, yeah, I'll think about that. But I did talk to another couple, and they had another idea, so I will be putting both of these together, and I'd appreciate what you've done. But everybody pulls apart. Let's come together and work together. And if I don't like you, there's something good about you, and you can find something good about me. I got so much I could tell you. Doggone it. Is there anything you want to know? Yes, sir?
Do you have any unique cases or symptoms that kind of stuck with you over the years?
I have what?
Any like unique patients or symptoms or cases that you've worked on that kind of
I
stuck
have
with
some
you.
wonder, and I wish I had wrote a story. I did write a story about my life, and I hope you guys do that. You have a wonderful life. You've lived a wonderful life. You're going to live longer. Write it down. Your life is important, and you're going to have kids and grandkids, and they need to know. My kids know about the washing machine, the new car, and all this and that, and bought, all that. They need to know what we went through and did in our lifetime. I have some wonderful life to tell you, and there's one that did work for the city for a time, and she was from Leon, and she came in, and I'm working on her feet. Now, once they start coming to me, they seem like they want to keep coming because they realize they do have, you do feel better. You do have more get up and go. I don't know why, but I work the adrenal gland a lot, and you do have more get up and go. Jenna Arnold was her name. She came into me, and she'd been coming, doing fine. Maybe get down the back now and then, something like that. I'm working on her spine. And all of a sudden, I scream, "Ah!" I thought, what was that? I didn't know. They say we have electricity in our body. Is that right? I didn't know that. Why did I scream? Ah! And she got a shock too. And I thought, oh my God, where did that go? So I started working on her, and I knew she was a diabetic. So that wasn't no surprise because that comes from your pancreas. So I went over to her pancreas, and pretty good. Then the pancreas goes through your body like this on both sides. I went through the other. Oh, it was soggy. It wasn't firm. It felt soggy to me. I don't know what soggy is, but it felt funny. I thought, oh my God, no. Then I went to her liver. It didn't feel good. Then I went to her spleen. And I don't know, I think the liver and the spleen works together as a blood thing. They both went right. And she said, what's wrong, Virginia? And I said, oh, I don't know. I said, but I think you need to get to the doctor, maybe have some tests. I said, you probably got a little bug or something like that. We can't diagnose or prescribe. We don't want to. She went. She had cancer of the pancreas, and they took 80% of her pancreas away. She calls me on the phone from the hospital. Virginia, the Lord healed me last night. I said, oh, well, that's nice. I didn't believe her. I mean, who's going to live with that, really? And she said, I told the doctor, but he didn't believe me. She said, he'd tell me, but he said that we would check it out before I went home. I have a habit of walking backwards. Isn't that funny? But anyway, he came in and he said, well, we're going to send you home. We're going to take a thing. And she said, and we're going to set it up where you start taking chemo and radiation. She said, doctor, I told you the Lord healed me. He said, well, I know, but we're going to check it out, So they did. They sent her home. She didn't take any chemo. She was healed. The Lord healed her. That went on for 5 years. She worked for your city here some time ago with money. And she was healed. 5 years she was dead. And she got back with her old guy that was a Marine. And they got married, got a home down in Leon. Do you know who I'm talking about? Okay, so anyway, she comes back into me. She's not feeling too good, but she's got to find a place to live. And they're going to he's not good. He's really down. He can't walk, and he's an old Marine and everything. And she's trying to find a home for him and all this and that and her. And they went around here and there. Within, I would say, 7 days, the Lord took her home. It was just that quick. That hit me really hard, but it was good that she died so suddenly. And she didn't die until they had bought a home in Leon, and he was settled in there and everything. So yeah, I have some really good story. I've got one from the guy. They don't care if I tell this, but it's just a kid from Ace Automobile Shop. I can't think of his name. Alan is his dad's name. This kind of got me. I'll make this short, sir. Do you have to leave? Okay. He came in and I would rub his feet and everything, and he got better. And one day Alan came in and was sitting there watching me, and he said, Virginia, we want to thank you. You've done a lot for my child here. He said, we were sending him to some words I can't say, psychologist. And he said, you have done him more good. And I thought, oh my God, I'm charging $4. So, and that kid has grown up and he's got children of his own now. So there's a lot I can tell you, but I just want you to spread the word that you keep moving, keep working at it, think good about everybody. And I would like Linda for you to come up here.
I have to take my shoes off.
I got to get even with her sometime. Is there anything else? Oh, if you have a headache, I can hit your big toe like that, and you won't have a headache in 2 seconds. I want to thank you for all you did. I was scared to death to come out here.
Oh, you did great.
Did I do all right?
You did really well.
I got a little gift for you because this is pretty neat for me. I really believe we need to live as long as we can. Oh, hey, I didn't even tell you about the good food you're supposed to eat. Yeah, I'm worried about you, kiddo. Really, I went to the doctor just 2 days ago, and my son is a short memory, and it's hard on him being short memory, but at least he's not Alzheimer's. But you can redo your brain. I did his brain, redo his brain. I went into the bedroom and I took one drawer and I put his telephone in there, his billfold, eyeglasses. He doesn't call me anymore. He knows where they are. I was having to go down to Augusta and find these things. So you can do things to help yourself. And I told Dr. Barner that the other day, and he said, yeah. He said, I've got a habit of putting everything in one place, So you work at that. This is a little gift that I want you to have.
Oh, thank you.
And you have done a life for this. This is a necklace for the tree of life. We go on and on. So it's okay to die. We're all going to die. And don't feel bad when your loved ones die. And I told the person the other day I was going to take a trip. And they said, Virginia, where are you going to go? I said, I said hell. I'm sorry. I said, hell, I don't know. I said, it could be heaven or hell. Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I said, yeah, I'm going on a trip. I've lived my life. I'm ready to go. It's okay, And we don't know. We know what the Bible says. We know what they teach us in church and everything, but we really don't know. And I might come back as a flower. Who knows? Bring food. And I know I'm working too late here, but please start eating. Binge on blueberries. These help your short memory. My son and I are going on a blueberry hunt now, and we're going to eat all these things. He's supposed to have tomatoes. I said, Randy, do you want a big tomato or just 10 or 20 little tomatoes? Every day we're going to eat these. We're going to see a difference. He doesn't like short memory, but he takes care of himself. He has a dog, and his dog name is Wilson. Wilson Ball. Does that make she'll come back to you, you know? And eat more tomato, B vitamin. Oh, and I take B12, and I take 1,000 units every day, and I have for years. The doctor didn't tell me to, but I think it gets me get up and go. Because really, I do pretty good. 5 o'clock in the morning, go to work 7, stop at 5. I still do my homework, housework, you know. But I'm not looking for a man either. Pumpkin seed, I didn't know that. Pumpkin seed, get them, carry them in your pocket. Do it. And broccoli, vitamin A, sprinkle sage. I don't know about the golden nuts, vitamin E, green vegetable. Eat right. Randy was a diabetic, and got stop, and the doctor told him, he said, you just do what your mother tell you and you'll be all right. So Randy now is not a diabetic. He doesn't eat any sugar. If you want to lose weight, just cut out the sugar. You know, it works. Drink water every day. Drink more water. Put lemon in your water. Oh my God. Hey, it's been wonderful. Thank you.